Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and it is Wednesday. We got a few more days until the weekend, and because the weekend's coming up, because people are so excited, they're jumping in the chat, and they're jumping in the live chat right here on Behance. Here on Adobe Live, we got Megan Miller in the chat. We got Elizabeth Mock, Ariana S, Sam Peterson is moderating. Say hello, everybody. Tell me, where in the world are you coming from, and what is your favorite kind of coffee? What's your favorite kind of morning time drink? Could be tea. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Also, let me know and make sure the stream is coming through okay, and make sure everything is going good. Hey, here at the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge, we have 9 challenges, and this is the 7th one. We're almost done, you guys. This has been a lot of fun. Let's jump over to the screen. If you're new to the XD Daily Creative Challenge, this is what you do. You go to Behance/challenge, woo, watch out, /challenge/XD, and you hit that big blue button and scroll down to get the starting file. Today, we're gonna be doing a smartwatch, not time tracker, but more like an experience tracker, where you can see the different activities and experiences you can do. We're gonna be playing with voice commands and also doing some cool mock-up stuff with the smartwatch. We got VL with a name that I can't pronounce at the end, but it says from Germany and loves Vietnamese coffee. What a wonderful combination of countries coming together in a delicious breakfast time drink. Hey, over here on our Discord, make sure you sign up for our Discord server, the Adobe XD Discord server. There's like millions, not millions. I think there's like almost 40,000 creatives here, but this is where you're going to post your chat, and then I'm going to be taking a look at work at the end of the day. Let's jump over to my starting file, which you can download. There's not much in it. It just tells us we're going to be designing the smartwatch experience where you can add and activate and track activities. And I have a little watch artboard. Look how cute this little watch artboard is. We're about to get started. Let me see who else is saying where they're from and what they like to drink. Arslan Ali says it's night here. Tea in the morning, coffee for us. Very good, awesome. And Arslan is from, let's see, Faisalabad, Pakistan. Okay, I probably said the name of that place wrong, but we appreciate you and everybody else being here. Hey, we have XD open, and we are gonna use some voice commands, maybe some drag gestures in here for our watch. So why don't we start out with something really easy like typography? And why don't we choose a type of activity, pop this at the top, and then we'll just make sure it's center aligned. And then I'll tell you what, let's do something really, really easy like zooming in and building a pagination. Okay, so this is gonna be just some little pagination dots like this. And let's just stop there with a color, because I actually have an illustration in Adobe Illustrator that I'm going to open up in Adobe XD. Did you know you could do that? Oh my goodness, you can open up Illustrator files in XD. Exciting stuff. And all the vectors and all the layers and shapes and everything are there. So we're just going to copy these cute little illustrations that I pulled from Adobe stock images. And I'm just going to zoom way out, paste these things in, and then shrink them, if I could, way down. Okay, let's zoom in and see what we have. I'm thinking each one of these fun activities will be in the middle of our screen, and we'll be able to swipe over them. So you can see, for instance, we had biking. Here's a biking one right there. Maybe running or surfing or skating or doing some yoga. Something like that could be really, really fun. So I want to do something a little bit more interesting here for this animation, though. We could just put them in a row and swipe back and forth. But I was actually inspired by another one of the amazing Adobe Live streamers, Andrea, and I don't know Andrea's last name, but she is an incredibly talented designer and creative, and she did this really fun thing a couple weeks back with pie, and I was like, man, I want to do that. So this is my ode to Andrea right now, my salute to her and her creative awesomeness. So I tell you what, let's make these just a little bit bigger. And I want to do this fun kind of rotation thing. So let's just make these a little bit bigger. And then let's choose a couple of our favorites of these. So let's do biking. We'll just put that on top of our circle. Let's just make sure we're lined up. Good. And then I like surfing a lot. So let's make sure that this ellipse, and then I'm going to name this ellipse Susan, like a lazy Susan. Get it? Because it's going to spin round and round here in a second. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. Okay, let's do skating. And we're just gonna line these two up horizontally. Just try to get them in the middle of where that line intercepts. Now we have those two right there. That's looking pretty good. Now we should be able to drag down. Let me see, maybe like our running one, line that up. This is maybe like some yoga. We'll pop that one right there. Let's do one more, and this one could be like, rollerblading. Come on, rollerblading. You gotta do that one. So we just want to make sure that our icons here or our illustrations are kind of lined up and everything's kind of coming into place here. Perfect. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my circle. I'm going to bring the opacity of this down and I'm going to group the whole thing together. Let's call this group Susan because that'll be really fun. And then let's bring our artboard over a little bit, get a little distance. Let's put our first activity right there on the screen. We'll just make a little space for it. Okay. Kind of like this. Okay, cool. Now we have this ellipse. This is our pagination kind of dot. Dots are cool. You know, let's get away from the dots. Let's do R for rectangle. Let's do like a fun little rounded rectangle kind of pagination. That could be a little bit more fun, couldn't it? Let's drag these in, something like that. And then I think, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't we just copy and paste another one on top of it, and we'll do like a neutral like this. Okay, so what you have is neutral, and then underneath it you have a color. We're gonna grab both of these together, Command or Control K, create a component. Let's call this Pagi for pagination, and then let's create a new state, and the new state on top we're just going to take the opacity down. So you have state 2, which is our active state. This is our master component out here. If we drag another version of it out, it becomes an instance. So let's drag actually another one out and make it our inactive state, and then just drag a bunch of these out. We'll just do 5 for now. Boom, 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 and we'll group them all together, and we'll call this pagination control in our layers panel. Let's make sure it's center aligned. And the reason I had two shapes there is because I want to fade one in, fade one out. And we'll see a little animation in the pagination as that happens. Okay, so now we have biking up there. What are the other ones we have? Let's just do surfing and yoga. How about that? Surfing and yoga. So what we're going to do is we're going to lead this out here and call this surfing, and let's do another one out here and call it yoga. And we're just going to grab our 3 titles, group them together, and then inside of our titles, why don't we just do a little distribution, and we'll call these things titles in our layer panel. Okay, so now we have in our layers panel, we have titles, we have our lazy Susan, and we have our pagination control. Everything is coming together swimmingly. Let's do some fun stuff now. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to drag another version of this out, and this is where our lazy Susan thing comes into play, right? Let's call this first one biking, and let's call this second one, what are we going to go to? We're going to go to surfing. So let's call this next one surfing. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our circle and we're going to rotate it around, and as we do that, we're going to come into the layer and actually just straighten out our illustration. We're going to drag over our title of surfing, and then we're going to zoom in here, and we're just going to select our active state for this one and our inactive state for that one. It should fade in and fade out. Now, the drag trigger that we're about to apply can be a little funky with circles. So the thing I want to do next is I want to add like an invisible drag control, and that's just going to be a rectangle that drags out this way. Okay, let's call this drag control. And we like that drag control. We're going to bring the opacity of it down. We're going to paste another version of it over here, and we're just going to drag it over a little bit so we actually have some drag interaction. Okay, sound pretty good? Everything on the second artboard is shifting and changing, including our drag trigger. So let's go to prototype really quickly. Let's grab that drag trigger and just drag it over, and we'll say on drag for our trigger type here. We want to auto animate over to surf, and let's give it, I don't know, a little bit of snap. I don't think the snap's really going to make much difference when we're doing a drag trigger, but we'll just animate back doing the same settings that XD has saved for us. Let's just bring up our prototype. Whoop. We see everything kind of move. Now, what I kind of like about this is the title and the little character are coming together at the same time, but they're moving at a different speed. It almost looks kind of parallaxy, which I kind of like. I'm kind of into. Now, I said, let's do some voice controls as well, which we're about to get down with. Let's do some voice controls. This is going to be really, really fun. The next thing we want to do is we want to take our artboard. We don't want to select an element. We want to select the entire artboard. And then we want to drag that over for a new interaction to the next artboard, okay? Only on artboards can you do a timed trigger or a voice trigger. So let's do a voice trigger on the entire artboard, and you'll see it tells us to type in a command. Why don't we do the command of surfing? That's the command we're gonna speak into the computer, okay? We wanna auto animate over with a snap, and let's slow this one down a little bit. Let's make it 0.5, and I tell you what, let's come back the other way. And for this one, it's gonna be biking. Same options here for all of our animation. Let's try it and see if it works now. So I'm going to press play. I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, and let's just zoom in on our animation here. Now, you have to press down the space bar when you're doing voice triggers inside of Adobe XD. It tells the computer, hey, go ahead and try this animation or this prototype out. So I'm gonna lean forward. I'm gonna speak at my laptop. Are we ready? Biking. Oh, excuse me, we're on biking right now. Okay, so what we need to do is say surfing, excuse me. Let's try it. Surfing. And it swipes over to surfing. Let's try going back the other way. Biking. And it swipes back over to biking. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so now you can see we have 1, 2. We don't need the rest of these illustrations out here. Why don't we go one more? And I'm going to show you a little prototype problem. Okay, here comes a little well, let's not do a prototype problem. Let's stay positive. Let's stay really positive here. Okay, so I'm going to drag another one of these out. You guessed it. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to move over our drag trigger. We're going to move over to yoga. We're going to grab our Lazy Susan, inspired by Andrea, the talented, the famous, the amazing. Okay, we're going to move yoga into view there. Again, we're going to go in. We want to find where's our yoga layer? There's our yoga layer. Let's just boop, kind of put him that way. And if things are a little messed up, we can correct it because there's no right or wrong answer here. That's amazing, okay? So let's come into yoga. And again, we want to change the pagination. So let's go inactive on that one, active on that one. And that looks pretty good. Let's come back to prototype, and I will actually show you a little bit of the problem, okay? So what we have is in prototype, we had a drag trigger that led back to biking. Now the problem is you can't have 2 drag triggers. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. Tell me, Sam Peterson, if I'm wrong about this, but I don't believe you can have 2 drag triggers on the same thing. Let's try it. Ready? Maybe we could drag over this way. We cannot. Do you see? So what we have to do is, really this prototype is not to create the app itself, but to create the design and show interaction for our development teams or for us later on for stakeholders. So we are going to move this over from biking over to yoga. See how we just swapped it over to yoga? Now these look real weird because of all the spacing that's here. But when we drag this thing over, we want to go to yoga. And when we drag this one, we don't want to go back to biking. We want to go back over to surfing, just like that, to its neighboring country, so to speak. All right. And then now when we do our voice trigger, we want to say yoga, and we want to go to yoga. And on this one, we don't want to do a voice trigger there. We want to say surfing, so we can go back the other way, and we want to go to surf. All things should be working out just fine now. Let's try it, shall we? So we have our prototype. We're going to swipe over from biking over to surfing. Everything goes well. From surfing over to yoga. Can we just talk about, I really like this fun little dipping of our yoga guy. That's fun. And we can swipe back, and we can't swipe back again though. That's the downfall. Is now you could cheat this if you wanted to. You could have 2 drag triggers and split the difference on the screen. So we could say here in our middle one that to go to the right, look at, let's mess with it. Let's try it now. We're only gonna come this way, and maybe we want to just drag that over. We could do something like that, or we could do a tap trigger there or something, and then you could put your second one over here, so when you drag from that position to that position, you could work something else like that. But I think our development teams would get the idea. Let's try our voice animations actually from this as well. So we should be able to say yoga. Nope, no matches for yoga. I don't know why. No. Oh, because I got to go to surfing first. That's why. Surfing. Well, now I'm not even prototyping. You ever just have a Wednesday brain fart? That's what I just did. I wasn't even in the prototype, the preview mode, and I just I just spoke to my computer for no reason. Let's try it again now, shall we? Surfing. Swipes over. Let's try yoga. Yoga. Ooh, swipes over to yoga. Let's see if we can go back to surfing. Surfing. Swipes back over to surfing. Come on, that's so much fun. Now let's talk about a really cool thing that we could do from here is we could take our first kind of element here and we could just draw a rectangle inside, and we can take the border off and make sure our rectangle is all the way in the back. Everything is looking good and fine and dandy. And it's almost on the entire artboard. Now it's on our entire artboard. And we can just grab the whole thing, group it together, and call it biking, right? That's not how you spell biking. Okay, and turn it into a component. Okay, the inner component has been changed, it says. Now you'd want to do a little bit more work beforehand, but I got this great little, watch right here. We could pull another one of these components out. And before we go any further, the next thing we could do, the thing we'd have to do before we do any of this, is actually create a rectangle, boom, put one above, and then say mask with shape, boom. Now our component is there. Now we would be able to bring our nice little iPhone screen out. Let's pop it into our phone. Let's shrink our phone down, or our watch down a little bit, and bring it on top. You can group that together. You could even turn on 3D transforms, and you could demo this phone or this watch. I keep saying phone. You could demo this watch somewhere or present this stuff on your Behance. So that could be a fun thing to do. And I think that's pretty much our challenge for today. So see how many of these little switcheroos you can do, and then how many, and then how do you want to display them? I wanted to take a minute and quickly talk about displaying all of your work, and I wanted to do that by first looking at some awesome and amazing work that has been submitted over on our Discord server, and then I want to talk about submitting your stuff to Behance real quick. Shall we? We shall. Actually, before we do this, why don't we just do what we just did one more time so that we can actually have something to show and actually put on our Behance, okay? So again, we're going to do a rectangle right in there, boom, 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 just like that, taking the border off. I'm going to do another rectangle in the back, boom, by just copying and pasting, and then I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to mask with shape. Great, and now we're going to make a component out of it. You guessed it. We're just going to drag this up and whoa, hot diggity. Let's reset the 3D transforms, turn 3D transforms off just for a second so we can go in here, boom, 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 just like this, and open up our components there, drag that in. Looking pretty good. Okay, and then let's just drag this behind. Now we have surfing instead of biking. Okay, and what could be really fun to do here is we could do, hey, an artboard that is 1920 by 1080, and if we could, oh man, we could find some sort of really fun like image to put there. But for now, why don't we actually just do something like this, and we'll group both of these together, turn 3D transforms on, and just do a little bit of perspective. Not a lot, just a little bit. Let's shrink this whole artboard up. Doesn't need to be that big. Center it on the screen, and I'm going to do one more presentational thing. I'm just going to borrow this little shape, our little vector shape here. I'm going to use that for presentational purposes. I'm just going to put that up there like that. Put it right behind, stretch it out, something fun like that. And then again, we could take, let's borrow a little bit of text, shall we? I just love borrowing. Borrowing is the way to go. Let's turn our transforms off. No need for that right now. And we'll just go like this. Activity tracker. Activity tracker. Okay. Boom. Something like that. And we could export this out and then put this on Behance. Speaking of projects and amazing works, let's look at some of our projects from yesterday, shall we? Okay. Elizabeth Mock says, Brain Fart Wednesday. It's okay. Always good to have a little humor. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Sometimes all of us have a little bit of brain fartage. Where did I find my mock-ups? Anna Lou, I don't know where I found my mock-ups, actually. I'm sorry. If I remember, I'll post that in the Behance for you. But there's lots of mock-ups all over the place, for sure. So don't get overwhelmed. Let's see, this is our gaming AR challenge from yesterday. World of Warcraft, League of Legends, boom. Bringing up those fun games. You got a little bit of clipping and kind of like when you go back and forth, and that's probably a Z-index issue inside of your 3D transform. So maybe go back and adjust your Z-index. I actually really like how much space you have in your leaderboard. And I like how it's darker. It looks really, really good. I really want to see though the plant. So maybe you could have taken your image, exported it, and done a little work in Photoshop to get the overlay of the plant. I know it's hard work, but it would have been really cool to see that too. Let's check out another one. This is from Selmung, and this is the same one, the AR gaming dashboard. Let's open that one up, and while we're opening that one up, let's see this AR gaming dashboard. This starts with people. You click on it. Interesting, all the elements. This kind of looks like almost like a PlayStation 5. Oh yes, I love that animation. Can we go back there? I was gonna say this looks kind of like a PlayStation 5 interface. Kind of like, yeah, we're opening up our PlayStation 5 interface. There's all our games. Click on one. This little whoop after it loads. Now, what would have been cool is if you auto animated up, right? And then you whoop, did that in like a timed transition between the two. This was mind-blowing. That would have been mind-blowing times twosies. So that's just a thing. Think about that. It's always nice when you see things not just transition, like hard opacity or dissolve transition, and you see things actually move. It makes things feel like they're connected, and like it is a coherent kind of application. So that is a pretty cool thing. Oh, let's do this one. XD Daily Challenge. Looking for feedback from Harish. Okay, really, really cool stuff. Nice scrolling. I like it scrolling behind the table. So what a simple, easy idea. Oh, let's go back. Can we watch that again? I didn't even notice it until too late, but look, simple Photoshop work. Just chop the bottom off, right? Drag those up and down. Select one. I like the animation. It kind of zooms in from the back. You can kind of click on these. This would be fun if it was like a web application or a web interface. So as you hovered over things, all these animations happen. Really, really fun. Really cool stuff. I like that one a lot. We got time for a few more. Let's see if this one from our friend Ilham Anurugra. Sorry, I messed up that name, guaranteed. But this is another great. I love the addition of all the actual interface elements, which is something we kind of missed out on yesterday. I didn't get the time to do that. An avatar showing that this is your profile or your account, and some different elements up top. So I could actually switch in between these different elements. I'd like to see this widget maybe drop down to be in line with the rest of the elements, and then you could really play with all of the surroundings of stuff. But this is really nice. I see how it jumps off the screen, almost like an overlay. I'm wondering if you did this with an Adobe XD overlay. Let's look really quick. Let's watch. I'm amazed. Ooh, nice little interaction. I like that. It's an overlay, okay? Or maybe it was a separate artboard, but that definitely could be an overlay. Let's watch it one more time. I like your little extending boxes on hover. Real fun. Nice little hover effect. And that's a nice little effect as well. Really nice work. Great submission there. All right, let's see what else do we got from yesterday. This is re-uploaded because my preview wasn't showing. This is from Sarah L. We don't know what we're looking at. This is my first time checking this out. It is an image. Oh, you're clicking on. Oh, it's like an interactive map. That's like augmented reality. Great integration. Oh, you have little notifications. Oh, I like that a lot. Can we watch that whole thing again? That was so unexpected. I was like, what are we looking at right now? We're looking at the signage. Boy, this is a really good and useful example. I like this. The notification. Boop. Hey, here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say to Sarah L for that little piece of work. Amazing. Beautiful stuff. Hey, when it comes to amazing and beautiful stuff, all these submissions were amazing, but you know what else is awesome? Let's talk about the schedule and the amazing content that's here on Adobe Live. You just got done with editorial design with Lily Garcia. This is me, Jesse Showalter, doing the XD Daily Creative Challenge, and coming up next is Draw Along with Kyle T. Webster. He likes to sing little songs and tell puns and stuff, so stick around because that's a really fun one. It's a great stream to watch. And then after that, you have Rework It with Jesus Ramirez and Claudia. So that's also going to be an amazing stream. Hey, there's lots of amazing content here. Thank you guys for jumping in the live chat. Can't wait to see your submissions from today's exercise, from today's challenge. Make sure you post those up here on Behance. And that's right, also, we didn't even have time. You can take your presentational materials, like these ones right here, and you can upload those to Behance. Make sure you use the hashtag XD Creative Challenge, and we'll start searching for those on Behance tomorrow. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. We'll talk to you later. See ya.